Hello, and welcome to another Sleep Tips. And I wanted to just take a moment and say, if you did not see the last video where we kind of introduced this little guy, please consider going to check that out. I had a lot of fun doing that, but in lieu of getting this kind of set up, we'll say, I wanted to just take a little moment, do a video about more sleep tips. I've got some listed here, but again, just to get into it, if you are struggling to sleep, hopefully these tips can really help you. And if you're still struggling to sleep, maybe reach out to someone. Because again, there's a ton of professionals out there who can help. I'm not saying reach out day one, but I'm also not saying to wait. But without further ado, if this can help anyone get to sleep, then I've done my part. So, tip number one is make sure to get a good sleep routine. And I've said this for just, forever. Even before YouTube, I was like, this is so important. Sorry, I keep moving my hands. I want to, keep this here, but, I'm just getting excited about this. But regardless, a good sleep routine, is something that's consistent, right? So when I say good sleep routine, I mean make sure that you have a routine leading up to sleep. Whether that's, okay, I'm going to brush my teeth at this time, I'm going to shower at this time, I'm going to get in bed at that time, and then from there, maybe you read books, maybe you don't, but I'm going to do this, and then that, and then that, to kind of like tell your brain, okay, after we do this, after we shower, then we always go and do this. Whether it's set your clothes for the next day, whatever it might be, it can get into, a psychological routine where it is like, oh, we do typically fall asleep after this. So I think that that's very important. And again, I know that it sounds silly, but give it a few weeks, and honestly, it can change your quality of sleep drastically. And number two kind of goes into number one. Try to relax, right? And so, in another essence, I hope that me whispering, me not yelling at you, just being very calm and quiet, gets you relaxed. So this kind of goes, we'll discuss in part. For me, I have kind of a little routine, right before I go to sleep. But then even when I'm in bed, I like to listen to YouTube a little bit. And again, I watch this one creator who I enjoy because, again, I enjoy the content. But it's like so soft spoken, it's so gentle that it's like I can just relax and enjoy. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a particular, relaxing style of videos. It could be gameplay. But again, as long as it's a calm voice, I think that that's huge. And again, hopefully your routine is relaxing, right? If you can take a nice hot bath or shower. Again, I said read a book. Depending on the book, I think that that's amazing. Some books, though, you'll want to just continuously read it, right? So that might not be the best. But again, if you tell yourself, hey, I'm a huge book reader, and every night I read one chapter, and it helps me go to sleep. Perfect. I think that that's amazing. But again, listening to any ambient music or sounds, anything like that, I think is a good little introduction to that. And then number three, this is, take it with a grain of salt, right? Because again, everyone will say no phones, or they'll say no blue light or something. There's a blue light mode on your phone that they recommend you click. I don't know all of that, but I know that they say no television, no phones, no laptops for at least like an hour before you go to sleep. Which I think that is, it's a little bit of hocus pocus, if you ask me. Because it's like, I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing, right? But I feel like so many people are now just addicted to screens. So I get, if you're watching something, you're going to want to continue to watch it. And like that's a fair point, and I'm not saying that that's bad. But again, if you limit yourself and you say, hey, I'm going to watch one video, or I'm going to do, one, whatever it might be, I think that there are within limits, things that you can do to just help prep to get you to sleep a little bit better, and again, to each their own. Some people, they might not be able to be on their phones at all, and if that's you, then you might just have to bite the bullet and stay off your phone for a while. But tip number 4, and again, this is a little bit biased, right? So please bear with me. But I think that being active throughout your day is, amazing. Not just for like the physical whatever, but I do think on days that I go to the gym and I just have an amazing lift, I sleep better. And again, you're like, yeah, obviously. But even if it's, okay, I had a busy day, in town, or, walking the dog, or, whatever. If it's like a busy, active day, again, it logically makes sense. You're going to be more tired at the end of the day, which, again, it's silly, right? But I think that is something to keep in mind, which, again, ties into being active in the day. Excuse me, my throat is so dry. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Being active in the day and not taking a nap. There's some people that can take a 20, 30-minute nap, wake up, and they are ready to go. And it doesn't disrupt them in the evenings or nights. But again, like the phones, if that's you and you just can't, if you take a nap and it screws you up, remember, you're doing this for better sleep, not, not for anything else. So again, if you can be a little more active and maybe not take a nap, wonderful. But again, in the same vein, sometimes I enjoy taking a nap during the day, right? But as long as it doesn't disrupt your sleep. So, just throwing that out there. And then for our next one, I don't even know what we're on, but I definitely think what you eat and drink can, in turn help you go to sleep, right? And again, being well rested and going to sleep, 2 different things, just because we said drink, right? So for those of you who drink, you gotta be careful. You really gotta be careful. Because again, I know, there goes my list. Some people, they'll just, drink, and they're like, well, now I'm tired. Wonderful, but you're not going to like sleep amazing, which again, in turn, if you eat like just a horrendously diet. I think that you don't get as much sleep, due to, all of the components of how food interacts within the body, and that's whatever, because everyone's different and every food source will interact different with you, so that's something to keep in mind. But again, if you can eat, just a ton of ice cream and then go to bed, no big deal. If you can eat like a ton of, beef, salmon, whatever, and then go to bed, perfect, But again, I feel like there's something where it understands, okay, I need to eat a certain amount, because if you don't eat enough, your body will be like in starvation mode, which I doubt many people are in that. It's probably the other way around. But, in the same vein, if you eat too much, sometimes it's uncomfortable and you really can't go to sleep. And I know a majority of you out there are probably thinking, none of this really matters. None of this makes like too much sense, right? Like I'm never going to eat too much. But just you wait. And again, it's like in the retrospect, you're like looking at me like I'm stupid. I'm never just gonna starve myself. But again, if you have such an active day, because you're like, hey, I'm gonna try to be active so I can sleep better, and then you don't eat, and then it just snowballs. So remember that again, like all of these, it's based on the person. It really is what is best for your body, you know. And then speaking of that, I definitely think that this might be a little bit more true than just an idea. But again, years ago, whenever, I still struggle from time to time, but years ago, it was like, okay, I'm really struggling to fall asleep. And then someone told me, and I forget who it was because it was so long ago, but they said, take your socks off, and then you kind of, what's the term? If you take your socks off, you lose heat out of your feet and your head, right? I'm not saying sleep with a hat on or something, but they say some people like it very, very cold, because again, that typically helps when you fall asleep. And again, if you sleep in a cold bedroom, right? Obviously, make sure it's dark if you're sleeping during the day, but try to make it nice and cool. And then again, there's a ton of preferences. But what this person said was, if you feel cold and you still struggle to sleep, put socks on. And again, it's weird because it's like, if I'm supposed to be colder, and taking my socks off makes it so that I can release more heat, therefore I get even colder. How is putting socks on to keeping me a little bit warmer, even though I'm cold, going to help? It doesn't make much sense, like when you break it down like that. But funny enough, again, I don't know if my colleagues and acquaintances are the best sample size, but again, people that I've spoken to in the past, sometimes they're like, yeah, man, it's weird. Like, I couldn't sleep too much, and then I tried sleeping with socks. Boom, game changer. And again, I'm not saying if it's the middle of summer, put your socks on, depending on what your summers look like. But again, it's these weird little habits, these weird little tools, tricks that we do that, again, you can say, oh wow, that really did, help. And again, I just think that it's fascinating. It's hilarious. And the next one that I have written down, again, some of these I'm like very passionate about. Some of these I'm like, whatever. So again, if you're Googling some of these, again, hopefully these little stories and tools are things that you're like, oh, I can actually try that. that sounds interesting, right? I guess also in the vein of drinking, don't drink too much, regardless of what it is, because you'll have to get up to go to the bathroom anyways. But the next one is, and again, I hate Google, but it's like, get a better mattress. If I could invest in a better mattress, dude, I would. But those things are so expensive. So, we are going to tweak what we've written down. Instead of getting a better mattress, right? Why don't we try better pillows, better blankets? Because again, better is kind of a loose term. You might enjoy more of a firm, right? Pillow, mattress, whatever. Whereas I might enjoy more of a soft, cushiony pillow, mattress, whatever. And again, it's like I enjoy lighter blankets. Even if it's freezing outside, I kind of just enjoy lighter blankets. You know? So again, if you're struggling, first off, wash that pillow and the pillowcase in your blanket. But try to maybe look at, okay, can I get a new one? Can I try a different one? Because again, it might be that simple little trick that changes your entire sleep quality. And I know it sounds silly, but let it wash your stuff. Wash your sheets too. It's nasty. It's absurd. It really is. Okay. So I'm thinking. I have more written down, right? But this has already been so long. We can dive into these later because again, I love these videos, right? I think that it's so important to try to help people just get better sleep, whatever it is. So again, if you guys are struggling, obviously watch more than just a YouTube video, right? Do some of your own research. But if you just enjoy my voice and you've made it this far, I want to say shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing. And I really do hope that you are sleeping better. I hope that you are sleeping soundly through the night. And again, for those of you who have commented, please do a video where you just like whisper and you just talk the entire time. This is also for you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed it as well. Sorry, there's a truck. There's another truck outside. But again, I do just want to take a moment and say, if you made it this far, please hit that subscribe button and comment down something that you want to hear, something you want to I can discuss, or I can just grab whatever and do whatever. So yeah, please be active down there. That way I can continue to cater some content towards you guys. And without that, truly, I just want to say thank you guys, because I wouldn't be sitting here doing this if I didn't think someone would enjoy it. So if you did, shout out to you. But that is about it. I really, really do hope that you guys are sleeping amazing. And yeah, let me know any other tips, tricks down below. Anything. And again, we can continue on this list that I have made in the future, because especially when I was going to college, university, I thought that it was like sleep was one of the most important things, but I struggled to sleep horrendously, So now I'm trying to really focus on sleep, mentally and physically. I think it's amazing for you. Again, I genuinely think it's it's the best thing. But anyways, guys, this has been just about 20 minutes. So this is TwoPointCho signing out. Have a snazzy day.